You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
New Fortress Energy recently hosted an entrepreneurship workshop at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, and Business Access TV was there to bring you the highlights. Stay tuned.
I've had the pleasure of chatting with Danny over the last few weeks and having lovely conversation last evening. And you will know that Danny is the executive director of the Jonathan M. Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship at Brown University. But what you probably don't know is that he's not just a professor at a university, he's first and foremost an entrepreneur. He started and sold many businesses, and he is globally recognized for his teaching of entrepreneurship. And he's very passionate about this. And, you know, people who are in this field tend to be very passionate, just like you as entrepreneurs. I know that Danny is going to get a lot more into his background, so I won't say very much more, except to welcome you, Danny, to Jamaica. It's his first time. Let's give him a warm Jamaican welcome.
Like many of you in this room, I am an entrepreneur. I'm somebody who's had some pretty deep, long-term, successful entrepreneurial experience. And that dates back to when I was even an undergraduate at Brown University. I was a history concentrator. Any other liberal arts concentrators in the room or majors in the room? That's interesting, not that many. So I studied history. I knew nothing about business. I knew nothing. I didn't even know the word entrepreneurship. And my senior year at Brown, I was asked to join a software company. We built that company up, and in the late 80s, we sold it to Apple. And I thought, wow, that's kind of a cool thing that we did. I knew nothing about business or technology, and I was able to contribute pretty significantly to that process. By the way, to my young students, I have to clarify that in the late 80s, there were such things called computers, because they can't envision that in the 80s there were computers. But once I clarified for them, they're interested to hear, oh, you were a student at Brown and you did that. So I'm a big proponent of liberal arts, history, languages, political science as the basis of a good foundation for just about anything, and in particular for starting things, new ventures for entrepreneurship. About 13 years ago, I got a fateful tap on the shoulder from a beloved professor at Brown, somebody who had actually helped us and supported us when we were students to start that company, to teach entrepreneurship at Brown. And I was confused for a couple reasons. One, first of all, I thought he was joking, because I told him I had never taught anything, nothing, not even Sunday school. He must have the wrong guy. And besides that, how is it even possible to teach entrepreneurship? And he's not the kind of person you can easily say no to, so before I knew it, I was in front of a Brown class teaching entrepreneurship. And so I always say that teaching entrepreneurship is what I call a participation sport, not a spectator sport, meaning that you can't really teach it unless you do it. And so I want to make sure it's clear that a lot of people are sometimes confused about what even we mean by entrepreneurship. And so I want to make sure I ground us in a common understanding. And I thought I might start by involving you. And this is not a quiz. I'm not looking for you to define entrepreneurship. I'll do that for us. But what I am looking for is when I say the word entrepreneurship, and there are no right answers, what words or thoughts come to mind? When I say entrepreneurship, what word comes to mind? Being different, okay, not being like everybody else. Passion. So you have to be really excited about being different. Taking risks. Risk is often on people's minds. Half crazy. Why half crazy? Maybe all the way crazy. Exactly. What else? What other words come to mind when I say the word entrepreneurship? Patience. That's interesting. So you might not get it right the first time. It sounds like you might have some experience with that. And maybe related, I heard sleepless nights. So when it feels like you should be getting it right the first time, and you don't, you have to go back to the drawing board. Maybe that's at 3 in the morning or even a little later. What else? Maybe a few other comments. Innovation. So yes, that's often a word I hear from the Latin root. I took 4 years of Latin, and my Latin teacher would be proud for me to remember that it comes from the word nova, meaning new. So it means to create something new. Yeah, so is that what you were thinking of when you thought that? Yes. What else? What other words or thoughts come to mind? Yeah. Quitting your job? Could be, yes. Right. Not necessarily, but in your point of view, that's your sense of it, that you're losing your ties to a dependable income and you're going all in by being aggressive. Could be. And maybe that leads to some of those same sleepless nights, yes? Problem solving. You took a peek at my slides, I have a feeling. Excellent, yes. So all these words resonate with the whole concept of entrepreneurship.
This is Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall,
Unsecured loans,
alleged corruption,
follows the closure. If they made this investment,
brokers
strive to increase revenues.
He sought some answers.
Financial meltdown.
Here are the week's final. Here's Garth. News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Keneal Gale, Saturdays and Sundays.
So New Fortress Energy is a global energy infrastructure company. What we've done in Jamaica is we've actually helped partner with JPS to introduce natural gas into Jamaica. And so we have 2 big projects in Jamaica, one in Montego Bay and one at Old Harbor, that are bringing the infrastructure into Jamaica so that we can bring clean energy to provide to power for the power plants in Jamaica, as well as industrial customers like Red Stripe, UE, and others. So we're helping the transition for Jamaica to go from the heavy fuels, the polluting fuels, to clean energy like natural gas and renewable energy like solar and wind.
How important is it for you to host an event of this nature for the entrepreneurs of Jamaica and outside of Jamaica as well?
Yeah, we are super excited to participate and help facilitate this event because entrepreneurship is so important to the economic growth and sustainable growth of an economy. Our company was founded by Wes Edens, who's a big investor in Jamaica, a big believer in the economic potential of this country, and he's an entrepreneur. So he understands the principles and the practices that you need to put in place for small businesses to grow and flourish and become medium businesses and become large businesses and employ a lot of people. And so what we want to do here is not only invest heavily in energy infrastructure, which we're already doing, but invest in the overall economy. And so we're focused on education and we're focused on entrepreneurship.
Now, how many of you have ever heard the phrase entrepreneurial spirit? Yeah, a number of you have. I have too. And I have to tell you, I cringe when I hear it. And I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't really mean anything to me. And it's the kind of fluffy phrase that might sound intriguing, but imagine if I, as a professor, were charged with teaching somebody how to have the entrepreneurial spirit. I wouldn't know where to start. And it doesn't sound like the kind of thing that you could replicate or clarify or standardize or teach somebody. And from your point of view, I don't know how you would learn the entrepreneurial spirit. And so instead, what I've done through the years, since that fateful moment when I was an undergraduate, drawn into my first entrepreneurial experience, when I was asked a few years later to teach at Brown, and I started to rack my head to say, okay, I got to do this teaching. How am I going to teach people entrepreneurship? I thought again about the fact that Brown teaches entrepreneurship in engineering. And I thought, you know what? if you're teaching somebody engineering, you're not going to say, if let's say you wanted to teach them how to build a bridge, how would it sound if you said, you know what, just go out there and have the bridge building spirit? How absurd would that sound? You laughed, of course. You know, just go out there and throw up a bridge, and if it holds the trucks and the cars, terrific. And if instead they come crashing down to earth, then go out there and be persistent. Just try it again. No, that would sound totally absurd. Brown would lose its accreditation. It wouldn't have an engineering school. And yet, many of you nodded your head when I said, how many of you have heard that phrase, entrepreneurial spirit? And I contended back then, and even more so given all the experience I've had teaching people entrepreneurship, that it's even more absurd to talk to people about entrepreneurship without having it grounded in a structured process. In bridge building, in the engineering school, we've distilled out of the whole enterprise of bridge building some standard elements that you can follow that have organized components to them. A structured methodology, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Every bridge follows a certain standard type of guideline in terms of how it was built. At the same time, every bridge is different from every other. Functionally, operationally, aesthetically. And so there's room, even when you're following a structured process, for your bridge to reflect the own nuances of whatever bridge it's going to be. And similarly, in entrepreneurship, I'm going to share with you the 3 structured elements of the process that I teach that you can learn and master. And even still, just like in bridge building, there's a lot of variation in terms of the kind of ventures or startups that all of you are involved with or could be involved with. And so these are those 3 elements that I distilled into my own teaching and that I teach people all over the world. The first is find and validate an unmet need, which in short means, what's the problem? What problem are you looking to solve? And I always advise starting with defining that unmet need, especially in the context of people who are technology focused. Remember, I teach in engineering, so I'm surrounded by lots of them. And they tend to rush past defining the problem. They like to dive in with a technology that they think is a solution. The problem is, it's a solution in search of a problem. And that's a pretty costly, error-ridden way to start the process. So instead, we always start with find and validate an unmet need. The second is develop a value proposition, which is the second part of this process. And that is essentially on a small scale, what's the solution to the problem you've discovered? It could be in a lab, it could be in a maker space, it could be in a social enterprise incubator, but what's the solution to the problem you've identified on a small scale? And then really important is this third element, and it's often where I think people fall short. And actually I've heard a little bit of theme in my limited time already today in Jamaica that this is an area that people are concerned about, and that is, even if you've identified an unmet need that is worthy of addressing, even if you've developed a small-scale solution to that problem, the third element is create a sustainability model that enables you to have big impact, impact at scale. So you're not only having impact in your small neighborhood or university or parish or even across Jamaica, but in a way that has sustainable, big impact that you can replicate, that you can scale across perhaps the entire world. So it's those 3 elements that are really critical as we think through this entrepreneurial process. And what we're going to do for the remaining time we have today is dive pretty deeply into this first one, find and validate an unmet need. I feel really strongly about doing that because I find that if you shortchange that part of the process, then you build a really flimsy foundation for what comes next. And if you build a really firm foundation by establishing a very clear and actionable unmet need, then those two other elements of value proposition and sustainability model roll themselves.
Talk to us about some of the partners that made this event possible today.
So we came in and really enlisted, saw where the ecosystem for entrepreneurship is very vibrant, very active. Jamaicans, on a whole, are really entrepreneurs themselves, and recognize some incredible organizations that were doing amazing work, like First Angels, Development Bank of Jamaica, Jamaica Business Development Corporation, Branson Center, and it's a huge ecosystem that we have tapped into. And of course, on the educational level, you have UA as well as UTech and Northern Caribbean University. So we are plugged into that mechanism. I mean, what we want to do is to add to the conversation and try to impact it via investment where, access to capital for startups are a little bit of a challenge for them. So this is one area that we're really focused on to see how we can assist micro, small, and medium-sized business to gain access to capital.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
First Angels Jamaica is one of the partners for today's entrepreneurship workshop. How did First Angels get involved?
So New Fortress Energy is our newest member of the Angel Network. And we've been talking about how we can collaborate to improve entrepreneurship in Jamaica and get people in the ecosystem closer together. So we thought that it would be a good idea to have this workshop. Danny Warshay is from Brown University, from the Jonathan M. Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship. And, New Fortress has a relationship with Brown. And so they suggested that we have Danny as our speaker, and we were thrilled to have him. So we have been working with our ecosystem partners, with the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, with the Branson Center of Entrepreneurship, and First Angels, and other partners to target the people that they are working with, the young entrepreneurs that they're working with, and you can see them here today. We're very pleased that our partners have come through, and the young people who are working with the various business service institutions, especially through the DBJ's program and Branson Center and JBDC, have come today to hear Danny, because his talk has been very important for young people and not so young people who are starting businesses and learning how to be better entrepreneurs.
So how can you guys start to implement bottom-up research? Take some notes on these flip charts, because then we're going to hear from some of your tables as you report back to the whole group.
So we have little points here, because we're trying to strategize, and we're saying, all right, observation of the deaf community. How do we communicate to them? We do not know sign language, but I do have a friend who is deaf, but they can text. You can ask them to teach you things. You understand? Accessibility. They don't want to feel excluded in anything. In society, we tend to use our own biases because we're so imperfect about certain things. We're saying, okay, they're not going to understand that because they're deaf. They might be deaf, but they're still human, and they do have different aspirations like us. So we're saying, all right, what is most important to them? What can be done to improve their circumstances? Can we include the government in it? Can we do like voluntary services? We should shadow them. shadow one person and do a one-to-one thing with them. Be more personal with them. Empathize with them, gaining their trust. Because most of the time you're not going to be trustworthy. Putting yourself in their shoe. Continuous documentation. You're not going to write right in front of them, you know. You're going to write at home in your diary. Aspiration, what drives them? What get them up in the morning? Probably the possible solution that we could find is try to get entrepreneurs who are in different sectors, like I'm in the tourism industry, she's in gastronomy, he's in the food packaging industry, she does jewelry making, and she caters to the deaf community.
Our unmet need was weight loss management. I don't know if you've been looking in the newspapers, but lifestyle illnesses is a major topic in Jamaica, and we have Jamaica Moves. We have a lot of movements about losing weight, but what we don't have a lot of products for is maintenance, which is far more difficult than losing weight. And so we looked at, we did the bottom-up research, but we've been asked to look at the adaptations. So some of the, I should turn it around a little bit, cultural differences. Jamaicans like products from overseas. It will be very hard to get them to buy into a local product, and so we'd have to look at adapting it for the Jamaican market. Our culture, of course, which, you know, we have a lot of music and a lot of cultural proverbs which revere fat women, and so we'd have to look at how we would approach that. We definitely have a quick fix mentality. We don't like maintenance. And so we actually also included a no maintenance mentality. We have a lot of projects that we start, but the follow through is just not there. And we also thought maybe some persons might be reluctant to participate in a project like this.
The DBJ, as you know, has a major focus on entrepreneurship. And we have one of our big projects for this year is how are we going to take entrepreneurship and innovation to another level. So when New Fortress Energy came and was looking to expand the work that they're doing in entrepreneurship in Jamaica, one of the entities that they spoke with was with the University of the West Indies. And we have a close relationship with the university. So they gave us a call to say New Fortress was looking to become involved, and you know, basically having invested in Jamaica's energy sector, they saw where they could actually, through their foundation, actually contribute to entrepreneurship development in Jamaica. And based on the work that we are already doing, the university thought that it would be a good fit for us to actually meet with New Fortress and partner with them on some of these initiatives.
How can entrepreneurs at each stage, whether startup, established, how can they benefit from the workshop and apply all the tools necessary?
It's a great question. And I even gave some examples of ventures that were well into their several decades of development. And what I teach is something that I know from my own experience can be used in all sorts of different kinds of aged contexts. So, for example, in many cases, I'm asked to teach this entrepreneurial process in very big, well-established companies. And it's because they recognize that some of their threat, some of their biggest challenge, some of their most significant competition is coming from the early stage companies who are using this process, and they need to learn it for their own safeguard and defensibility. So I've never seen a context in which we couldn't apply the entrepreneurial process that I teach for the benefit of whoever's asking me to teach there. That could be very early stage, it can be very late stage. It doesn't even have to be in a business context. I teach this entrepreneurial process all across the Brown ecosystem in virtually every discipline you could find. In some cases, that third element I described, the sustainability model, is a business model. In other cases, it isn't. When I'm working with neuroscience researchers, the outcome there is better neuroscience research. When I'm dealing with doctors at the Brown Medical School or Brown Medical students, the outcome isn't necessarily a commercialized product. It could be better medical outcomes. When I'm dealing with the philosophy department at Brown, the outcome is how do we think through the ethics of entrepreneurship? So we think at Brown very expansively about the wide application of this process, not narrowly as just a method for creating a business.
That's it for our coverage of the New Fortress Energy Entrepreneurship Workshop with special guest Danny Warshay. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Logo Stitch Manufacturing Limited is a manufacturing and branding company. We are into garment manufacturing, such as Oxford shirts, T-shirts, aprons, bandanas, and we also distribute and brand promotional items. As a manufacturing and branding company, we are always innovative, always doing something new, always doing something different. In addition to that, as opposed to our competitors, we offer fast, super fast turnaround time because we have a full working manufacturing facilities and everything is done in-house. My uniform that I'm wearing, this is customized and done by Logo Stitch. We have tote bags, different styles of Oxford shirts. So for example, if you have an event such as Expo and you want to look different because you don't want to walk around in the same thing as everybody else, so you can come to Logo Stitch and we'll be more than happy to make something for you. As it relates to designing and customizing your products, Logo Stitch can do something from scratch. You know, we sit with the customer, get an idea as to what they require, and we can bring it to life, or the customer can bring their own design, and we'll be more than happy to make it into a garment product. We have a free digitizing special going on. Digitizing is basically converting your logo to threads, or some people may know it as setup. So, you know, that initial setup fee, once you're buying like 10 shirts and over, that's free at Logo Stitch. You don't have to pay that setup cost any at all. Logo Stitch has been known for stitching for the most part. However, we're not just into logo stitching, we're into printing as well. We do a large quantity of promotional items, pens, pencils, key rings, water bottles, and you name it promotion, we have it. And we also source, so whatever we don't have available in-house, we can source it for you. Events such as Expo Jamaica is very important to the manufacturing sector because there are no other platform that allows you to showcase everything that you do and also invite people from other parts of the world to come and see the offerings that are available in Jamaica. I can see improvement over the years, and the responses that we have been getting this year has been great. Logo Stitch can be contacted by several mediums. We have our website, which is www.logostitchja.com. We're also on Facebook, which is Logo Stitch Manufacturing Limited. We're on Instagram as well, Logo Stitch Manufacturing Limited. We can also be reached via email, which is info@logostitchja.com. Or you could call. Our numbers are 924-4581 or 924-3718.
Hi, I'm Richard Panduit, CEO for the Separate Group of Companies. You're watching Business Access TV. We're serious about business.
Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and today we have for you a wealth of information jumping from the pages of Jamaica Magazine. From stops at the Sangster International Airport to other areas of interest within the governance of our country. It's an explosion of all things worth watching. You can't afford to miss out anything, so stay with us.
Did you know that the EU has been doing a lot of work in Jamaica? The EU provided some 23 billion Jamaican dollars to help people living in sugar-dependent areas. This means new houses for sugar estate workers, rehabilitated roads, improved schools, health centers, vocational training, business grant, wide range of action to improve the lives of people in sugar-dependent areas.
Life sweeter for you with the EU.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, October 17. Jamaica is on track to achieve 30% of its electricity coming from renewables within 2 years. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made that pronouncement on Tuesday during a function at Jamaica House. This would surpass the National Energy Policy target, which calls for at least 20% of the country's energy mix being renewables by the year 2030.
We now have a combined supply of just about 120 megawatts of renewable electricity power, which is currently in our grid, and that will put us to about between 15 and 18% of electricity generation in the next 2 years. So it's quite likely that we will achieve the 30% by 2020. Quite likely, if we continue at this pace.
With that goal on track, the Prime Minister says government's new target is for renewables to supply 50% of the country's electricity generation by the year 2030.
I think that that is doable. So pushing our energy generation to be 50-50 by 2030, fossil fuels and renewables. That is in our national security interest, in our survival interest, that we do that in Jamaica.
Mr. Holness was addressing Tuesday's commissioning of solar photovoltaic panels at the office of the Prime Minister, which should reduce the office's electricity bill. The project was led by the non-governmental organization Solar Head of State in collaboration with the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica, National Energy Solutions, the Clinton Foundation, and other partners. It included a Jamaica Solar Challenge competition, with Ryan Bent winning the top prize of $75,000 for composing a song to communicate the benefits of solar energy. The state of public emergency in St. James will remain in effect until January 31 next year. Prime Minister Andrew Holness successfully led a resolution in the House of Representatives on Tuesday to allow the enhanced security measure to continue. All 47 members of the lower house who were present voted in favor of the motion. 16 MPs were absent. Before the vote, Prime Minister Holness asserted that the state of emergency had been successful in reducing murders in St. James, which had a homicide rate of 182 per 100,000 prior to the operation.
Over the period 1st of January 2018 to the 11th of October 2018, the St. James Police Division accounted for 77 murders and 86 shooting incidents. This reflected a 53% decline and a 67% decline, respectively, in both murders and shooting incidents when compared to the same period in 2017.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has also voted in favor of extending the Zone of Special Operations, ZOSO, in the St. James community of Mount Salem. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the 60-day extension will give the state space to successfully continue its social intervention activities, which have complemented the security operations.
Today, the high rate of gang-related violence, which previously characterized the community and the police division by extension, is no longer at the level it was prior to the declaration of the zone. In fact, Over the period 1st of September 2017 to the 11th of October 2018, the community experienced no murders or shooting incidents.
Mount Salem was the first ZOSO to be declared in September 2017 and transitioned to the build phase in February 2018. To date, that has resulted in a number of roads being rehabilitated, while 115 households have had their accounts regularized by the National Water Commission. Going forward, the Mount Salem Primary and Junior High School will be expanded and upgraded, and a new state-of-the-art infant school will be built. In other news, government has purchased 3 new garbage trucks to boost the capabilities of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA. The units, which were bought at a total cost of approximately $74.7 million, were presented to the NSWMA by Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie on Tuesday. They will serve Metropolitan Parks and Markets, Western Parks and Markets, and Northeastern Parks and Markets. Each region will get 1 unit to improve their waste collection and transportation. Minister McKenzie says even more trucks are coming.
By the end of this year, early January, an additional 12 trucks will complement the fleet, and by year-end 2019, we are looking at close to 50 brand new trucks for the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
The minister urged the workers to take care of the units. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government is investing in the country's sporting infrastructure to build Jamaica's capacity to host more international sporting events, including track and field.
The government has already started the process under the banner of Jamaica 55 Legacy Projects to improve the National Stadium complex here, the Trelawney Stadium, the Chedwin Park Sporting Complex in St. Catherine, Draxall in St. Anne's, and the Herb McKinley Stadium in Clarendon.
The Prime Minister was speaking at Sunday's unveiling ceremony for the statue of Olympian Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce at Statue Park in the National Stadium complex. He paid tribute to Shelly-Ann's phenomenal successes and said he hoped the statue would serve as an enduring inspiration for all Jamaicans, especially our girls. For her part, the world and Olympic champion expressed gratitude to the government for unveiling the statue in her honor.
It is my hope that this statue will serve as a testament to the fact that where you come from and how you start life are part of the story. What you do with what God has given you, the ability to do, is more important. Do not be limited by your history. Instead, let us make history.
The statues of fellow Olympians Veronica Campbell-Brown and Asafa Powell will join those of Shelly-Ann and Usain Bolt next year. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Did you know that in a recent survey done by the OCA in schools across Jamaica, 43% of the students received inappropriate messages from strangers? The OCA wants you to be smart online. Never speak to persons you don't know. Parents, encourage your children to be social but be smart.
This message was brought to you by the Office of the Children's Advocate with support from UNICEF.
As part of government's contribution to the global air travel network, the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority earlier this year opened its state-of-the-art modernized air traffic control tower. Watch this.
The Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority welcomes you to our modern state-of-the-art air traffic control facility at the Sangster International Airport.
It endorses and underscores the commitment of the Government of Jamaica and the Airports Authority and the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority to develop a world-class aviation industry.
Today represents an important milestone in the civil aviation history with the opening of the new Sangster International Airport Air Traffic Control Tower. This undertaking forms part of the Government of Jamaica comprehensive $4.92 billion modernization program.
The new SIA Tower comprises essential components of the Air Navigation Services Modernization Program. This has allowed the JCAA to enhance the safety, efficiency, and reliability of its air traffic services.
It promises to significantly boost Jamaica's air navigation service delivery. The tower will greatly enhance confidence, reliability, efficiency of our air navigation system as Jamaica continues to provide safe and assured service to airlines that navigate our airspace.
The tower is an 8-sided structure, approximately 122 feet or 37 meters above ground level.
We have a space to ourselves, that's one. When we're coming in, we're not trying to be hustling and bustling through tourists or any other stuff. We have a lounge area, which helps us to become a little bit more relaxed so that when we're actually on the sector, we are more focused and we are able to do our jobs that much better.
Line up and wait, runway 07, Southwest 1113.
With the industry's hallmarks being innovation and the conveyance of progress, we must continuously devise ways to exponentially increase our safety and value, while increasing the efficiency, overall performance, and utility of the industry for the nations, peoples, and the world at large which we serve.
We have expanded the training institute for air traffic controllers. We have 3 ground radar stations, one in Kingston, one in Montego Bay, and one in Manchester, so that the investment in the human resource to run all of the equipment that has been bought. The Sangster International Airport is our main tourist gateway. Some 4.2 million passengers transited this facility over the last year, and we intend to increase that this year to approximately 5 million. As a result of the equipment that we have here now and this new tower, it is going to enhance safety, it is going to underline Jamaica's reputation of a safe airspace.
This new ATM environment, which is comprised of both the Sangster and NMIA towers, as well as supporting infrastructure and technologies, has positioned Jamaica as a leading air traffic management environment with the most advanced equipment available on the market to improve the safety of air operations nationally and globally.
So Jamaica is known as the Singapore of the West in terms of our connectivity, in terms of air or sea route. And Jamaica will now facilitate other airlines. So even if the airline doesn't land here, because they are now transiting our airspace, we are going to be earning more. It's now easier for them to travel in a straight line, going to South America or from South America, going across, or even from Europe coming into this region.
I say we're winning right now, we figure that off into what we're living right now. We are the structures that we're building right now, yeah. Are we chilling right now? Oh yes, we're winning right now. Our Thanksgiving right now, yeah. I say we're winning right now, say we. Oh yes, we're winning. I want to hear you say we're winning. Oh yes, Jamaica.
Our brand promises of safety, efficiency, and innovation are strong and evident. They are promises to which the world has grown accustomed to, and promises we must keep.
So as we take to the skies, may our flights be smooth, may our landings be safe, so that Jamaica may increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right.
Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness made announcements last week regarding the future operations of the National Water Commission, guaranteed to increase access to the commodity by our island's farmers. Take a look.
Concession agreement signed for Norman Manley International Airport. 5 finalists selected in the Houses of Parliament design competition, and
this Heroes' Day, let us resolve as ordinary citizens to be brave and take the steps to our destiny of peace, prosperity, and progress.
You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Simone Wolfe. Last Monday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness revealed that a corporate governance and business model review of the National Water Commission, the NWC, had commenced. He said the entity was exploring new business models to transform its performance, including public-private partnerships or making the NWC a corporate entity.
The NWC's current business model, we realize, at times limits its ability to fulfill its own mission, leading to difficulties in raising capital or even meeting regulatory targets. And at the same time, the cost of water services is approaching unaffordable levels.
The Prime Minister was speaking at the 27th Annual Caribbean Water and Wastewater Association Conference and Exhibition in Montego Bay. He disclosed plans to reduce energy costs at some of the Water Commission's locations. One of those plans involves the installation of solar panels at the Mona Reservoir.
The NWC is coordinating with another agency that is within the Office of the Prime Minister, and that is the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica, the PCJ, in figuring ways to introduce renewable energies in 20 of your production locations that will significantly reduce the electricity used.
By Tuesday, the Prime Minister was back in Kingston for the Conference of Executive Management, Heads of Mission and Consular Post held at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. He revealed that the country was being considered for participation in the first cohort of nations to be measured in the World Bank Group's Human Capital Index. The index measures the degree of the health of children, teenagers, and adults, as well as the quality of and access to education that can be received by those aged 18 and younger. Prime Minister Holness also disclosed that the Education Ministry would become part of the Program for International Student Assessment, PISA. The program evaluates educational systems and is part of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD.
It's absolutely important that the government redoubles its efforts from a policy perspective and from an implementation perspective to ensure that we're doing well in terms of measuring our human capital development.
The Prime Minister also shared that the Foreign Affairs Ministry was taking steps to address any negative global perception of crime in Jamaica. He said the enhanced security measures were part of that drive.
I believe that this is an opportunity to show that Jamaica as a civilization can give its security forces the authority and the power to use force within the context of the law and the respect for human rights, whilst at the same time having an impact on reducing crime.
On Wednesday, the Prime Minister witnessed the signing of a 25-year concession agreement for the operation of the Norman Manley International Airport, NMIA. Mexican company Grupo Aeroportuario del Pacifico, GAP, will be investing a minimum of $110 million in the airport's operations. Commercial closure of the deal is expected by December. Mr. Holness said while the Airports Authority of Jamaica still owned the NMIA, the partnership with GAP was needed to boost specialized management of the facility.
Allowing the competent skills to take over the asset, to manage the asset, and to take the risk unlocks a new world of opportunity for our airport. Now we can possibly take in more flights. Well, definitely you will have to take in more flights.
Wednesday also saw Mr. Holness attending the Jamaica Flour Mill's 50th anniversary ceremony. He used the function and ensuing tour of the facility to call for more private sector-led investments into the economy.
The government of Jamaica is active in supporting the economic transformation of Jamaica. But for Jamaica to transform, businesses have to transform. I am serious about carrying through this to see to it that we have a parliament that all Jamaicans can be proud of.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness at the selection of the top 5 finalists in the Houses of Parliament design competition Wednesday. The architects, who are all locally based, each received $2 million. They will now refine their designs for the selection of the final awardees in February 2019. A total of 24 designs were submitted, and they are now on display at the exhibition room inside the Jamaica Conference Center until October 24.
Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is truly a phenomenal woman who has made us proud. May this statue serve as an enduring inspiration for all Jamaicans, especially our girls.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness as he unveiled a statue of Olympian Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. It's the latest to be erected in Statue Park at the stadium complex. Mr. Holness also urged the audience to pray for footballer Luton Shelton, who is battling ALS. And during his National Heroes Day message on Monday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness lauded the modern-day Jamaican heroes from all walks of life who display daily acts of heroism. He also commended the security forces for their work to rid the island of crime, at the same time calling on Jamaicans to join the fight.
As our forefathers found wise and effective ways of resisting oppression and brutality, which eventually led to our freedom, so it is that today, communities that are held hostage and oppressed by criminals must wisely play their part to resist and expose the criminal oppressors. It is the right thing to do.
And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Always beautiful in Jamaica. Everything usually be green and pretty. We have beautiful water. Temperature that is normal temperature. The water never cold. We've been into business for about 13 years. JUSC-COOL. Just Cool. It's spelled with 3 zeros. We make 3 different types of pudding. We make potato, we make cornmeal, and we make toto. This is the cornmeal, okay? That's actually almost the last process. What he's gonna do now, he's gonna put the gel on top. Within no time, he has to take it off because the gel give it a nice taste. We have people like Shelly-Ann Fraser came here. We have, you could name the biggest artists, Shabba Ranks, name them all. Being the Man, they all come here and buy their pudding. This is what we grew up on. Now, when the people come to Jamaica, everybody, as soon as they land off the plane, this is where they come. They want to taste this pudding because it's bringing them back to the old days. The long time days when they was kids growing up and they used to sit on the fire and watch their mama, their grandmother bake the pudding. We try not to change off our roots, we try to keep it that way. And not only that, we have a lot of love because we're all about love.
Creating jewelry has always been an important part of our culture, whether from board, metal, or just about anything we can find in our environment. Local jewelry makers share their pieces.
Droplets of beads, creatively designed metals, painted wood, all handcrafted to adorn the neck, face, or limbs. Made from natural resources found on the island, local costume jewelers are designing a niche for economic empowerment.
Natural handbands These are like from Lucky Seeds and RSI, and these bracelet is from copper with seed mixed in. And we have bamboo handband. We have leather handband over here, and we have wallets, sandals, and pipes and chalices. Natural, all handmade right here in Jamaica. I'm doing this business for over 40 years now. I've traveled all over the world, and this is the business that I do. This is my living, and I'm very proud of it. I was working at the post office for 18 years, but in the 18 years at the post office, I learned this trade. I'm self-taught. That's what I love about this. I think about a creative piece, and I manifest it with my hands. And that's what I love about it, manifesting what I think.
So we have two lines here. We have one called the Heavenlies, and then we also have another line that's completely made out of paper, crafted from scratch, hand-painted by a fine artist and varnished. And that one is called Inspired by Nature. And if you look at it, you'll see things that remind you of sunsets or hillsides and mountainous reliefs and fruits and flowers. We have some freshwater pearls, we have shells, we have upcycled, I would say, materials that we used to make the earrings, so paper. So, and we do a lot of seeds and shells. I work a lot with shells. So those sorts of things. I'm telling you this, we don't know how rich we are. We're a very rich country. I'd love if we could concentrate on developing our skills and using our local product and advance. We are so rich that it's confusing sometimes to see what we're doing, so much stupid things. Killing each other, robbing each other. We don't have to do that. We have everything here. So we need to just concentrate and focus and be positive and use the things that we have, because we have a lot. Just be more mindful of what you're doing every day and what you're using every day, you know. Paper instead of plastic, that's kind of, you know, the stereotypical answer, but really thinking about where you're buying your products. Are you buying things that are locally made? Are you buying things that are imported more than the locally made?
This 24-hour period is being observed as International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. Hear this. The simple truth is that the policies of our country alone cannot create all the tools for overcoming poverty. October 17 emphasizes the importance of reaching out to people living in poverty and working with citizens from all backgrounds to end this global issue. This International Day for the Eradication of Poverty is being observed under the theme Coming Together with Those Furthest Behind to build an inclusive world of universal respect for human rights and dignity. As we mark the day, let us look out for each other and work to make Jamaica the place of choice for all to live, work, raise families, and do business. And that's all we have for you on today's show. But if you missed anything at all, you can watch it all again on our website or our YouTube page. And don't forget to keep up with us via our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Remember to join in the Heritage Month celebrations and get your family and friends involved as well. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
You're
watching Business Access TV.
Business Access. Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
After quite an exciting and exhilarating warm-up, it's time for the start of the Guardian Group Keep It Alive 5K 2018. Last year in Montego Bay, it was just about 4,000 people who decided to run, walk, or wheel. This year, they almost doubled that number with 7,000, just about 7,000 participants this year. So we're here at the starting lineup, and Business Access TV will bring you highlights from all the sponsors, all the booth holders, and lots of action from the podium, from the start line to the finish line, right now on Business Access TV, serious about business.
We strive to make life better for our people, and as we strive to raise funds for our respective medical institution, I say to you here this evening that you are here for the right cause. And to hear that we have moved from 4,000 last year to over 7,000 this year, you must give yourself a big round of applause. So I say to you this evening, I know this evening will be a very good evening for all of us. And Montego Bay, we are enjoying a level of peace and stability and love. So I'm saying to you here this evening, enjoy yourself, enjoy the race. Guardian Life, you are doing an extremely good job for the health sector, not only in Montego Bay, but across Jamaica. So once again, one love, everything best for Montego Bay. Thank you.
Wheelchair, on your mark.
When you talk about being fit for business, Eric Hussein takes it to another level. And he is the president, of course, of the Guardian Group. Now, Mr. Hussein, first and foremost, congratulations on another successful execution in Montego Bay, and congratulations on finishing this evening as a runner.
Oh, well, we want to say thanks to everyone. It was fantastic here. Last year we had over 4,000, and it was declared the largest run outside of Kingston. And this year we have approximately 7,000. That's just amazing, the growth rate. So really, Kingston, look out, Moby, and I tell you, the vibes down here is just great. A great run, great event, you know, just really thankful. It's a worthy cause. Cornwall Regional, big new in the news. St. Anne's Bay Hospital, University Hospital of the West Indies, who were the original co-conceptualizers, and then Mandeville Hospital. You know, the equipment is just greatly needed, and we, private sector as well as individuals, really need to play a part, and that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. Now, you spoke about the almost 4,000 last year, and you almost doubled that this year. What do you think is responsible for that almost 100% growth?
Boy, I tell you, we have a fantastic team of persons working to make this event a success. And I think the people have caught on to the vibes and realized that this is really a great way to give back, give back, because the lives we save, maybe just our lives. The equipment that we buy, we all 100% of the income goes to the hospitals. Also to charities run by Kiwanis, Rotary, several other clubs. So it's not just the hospitals, several clubs with their charities are also benefiting. And I think people are buying in more and more to the fact that, hey, this is a great way to keep your body alive as well as to save lives.
Marsha, first and foremost, congratulations on getting past the finish line. Describe the challenge tonight for you.
I wouldn't say it was challenging. I'm so overwhelmed for entering because it's for a worthy cause. Corner Regional really needs the help. And I'm representing Team NCB for Guardian 5K run.
So you finished within the top 100. Are you a competitive runner generally?
Not really, but I do run in the evenings and exercise a lot.
High voltage, high voltage, wire. High voltage, high voltage, right now. Watch your wire, watch your wire, watch your wire. Watch your wire, watch your wire, watch your wire. High voltage, high voltage. High voltage, high voltage, wire.
How are you tonight?
I'm fine. It's a wonderful night.
Yes, indeed it is. You almost doubled the number of participants over last year.
Absolutely. It's really awesome.
Describe for us the marketing campaign on the ground, mobilizing the teams, the different corporate entities, the private individuals. What was that process like?
Well, of course, as you can imagine, it's a lot of work to do. I mean, in terms of marketing, we use a lot of social media. We reach out a lot to the people on the ground because, Montego Bay is its own city and it requires its own individual attention. And so that is how we get a lot of the word. And of course, word of mouth, the ads on radio in particular. So all of those things just help to make the turnout so wonderful.
Of course, you did make mention of having to collaborate with a variety of entities, the police, the municipality. How different is that in Montego Bay versus Kingston, or is it different?
It's really not that much different. I mean, obviously we need all the stakeholders on site to make this event safe and wonderful, and that's what we have been able to achieve tonight.
Describe the contribution made by NYS by Heart to the Guardian Group's Keep It Alive 5K in Montego Bay.
Well, first of all, we are all about volunteerism, and this is just another chance for us to volunteer. We were approached by Guardian, and of course we had to say yes to such an initiative. We know how important it is, and of course we have our volunteers who are always ready, willing to go, and this is just a great initiative. We have contributed volunteers in the Montego Bay leg as well as the Kingston leg, and we have been having a wonderful time contributing. And of course, this is a part of the new Learn, Earn, Give and Save initiative under the Prime Minister's Hope initiative, and we've been just having a wonderful time. And of course our participants, they are learning, and of course they're volunteering, giving, saving.
Now, what's the big benefit to the participants, as in the volunteers, and what's the big benefit to Heart?
Well, I think the biggest benefit is to be able to teach our young people to volunteer, how important it is. The volunteers, they benefit from being a part of these events. They contribute volunteer hours. Some of them are a part of different programs in Hartress and in NYS. So this is just a great way for them to contribute. They get to network. Trust me, they're having a great time and they're learning skills as they go along.
Anthony, clearly this is not your first time participating in this kind of activity. Describe the run for yourself tonight.
Well, last time was a better time, I clocked in 27th minute. Last time was 19.7, which I plan not to give it to my hall this time. But anyway, it was a good run, and right now I feel like I have more energy to run again.
You should probably head on to Kingston and participate in some of those runs there.
Just because I work, but yeah, if it was in Montego Bay, maybe I'll give it an next try.
What's your word of encouragement to your friends, your colleagues here in Montego Bay and across Jamaica as it relates to participating in activities like these for a worthy cause?
Well, it's best to do that, because we have a lot of need the help. So while we do it, it's just for the needy and the help of all the citizens of Jamaica.
Dr. Graham, you ran tonight. Yes. Did you time yourself?
I actually did not, because it was about keeping people alive, and so my effort is to keep them alive, not to keep me alive, although it's doing my body well.
Right.
But I figure I'm somewhere about a half an hour. It was a zigzag race and a lot of people, and of course, it's not about competing, it's about finishing.
Good. Now, it's really good that you've participated. Do you encourage the rest of the UDC team? How many are there others from your UDC team who are here tonight? What's that number looking like?
Yeah, we have about a dozen people. Our Mobay office is not that big, our Western region. We decided to participate in the Western race this year as opposed to the usual Kingston race because Mobay is our second city, and we also have a lot of projects down here in Mobay. The beachfront park and the beaches that are being redeveloped. And of course, we wanted to show Jamaica that we believe in what the run is about and also that there's community participation. So we drove down and we joined the Mobay team that is here and we're having a great time.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
With us now, we have a group of friends from Montego Bay. We've got Shanakay, Shanice, Shanoy, and Joy. And they all ran tonight in different sections. So let's hear a little bit from them. All right, let's start with you, Shanoy. Why did you choose to run tonight?
For the exercise, the fitness. So I'm giving the body shape. Summer is up.
Yes.
So I'm giving the body shape.
Oh, so you're sculpting yourself for the summer?
Exactly.
Today is June 2. The summer has already begun.
Exactly.
Are you ready for the summer?
Almost.
Almost. All right. Shanakay, is your motivation similar to that of Shanoy?
Same, and also for the fun and the pictures.
For the fun and the?
Pictures.
The fun and the pictures. Where can we find your pictures?
On Facebook, Shanakay Brown, Instagram, Sugar Pretty Natural, and that's practically it.
And now you're on Business Access TV. Let's talk with, this is Joy, right? Oh, Shanice, my apologies. Shanice, so some are running for the fitness, some are running for, obviously, the likes. Are you doing it for the love?
Well, as my friend said, we are doing it for the fitness of the body, the fun, the enjoyment, and the vibes, and also for the support.
Joy, now, I don't hear anybody mention the fact that participating goes towards the Cornwall Regional Hospital. Is that where your motivation lies?
Charity. For charity and also to keep my body in shape.
Do you normally participate?
Summer body as well.
Do you normally participate in activities such as this?
Yes, this is my second year. I also did the UTech race. That was me. Yeah, I did the UTech race. So this is my second year in the Guardian Life.
All right, great. Again, it's always wonderful when you can have a group of friends participating for a worthy cause and so many other areas of motivation. It's all about the Guardian Group Keep It Alive 5K in Montego Bay 2018. Among the beneficiaries of the Guardian Group Keep It Alive 5K is the Cornwall Regional Hospital. And with me now, I've got Ms. Gillian Legister, and she's the Director of Nursing Services. And we also have the Senior Medical Officer, Dr. Derek Harvey. Let's start with you, Dr. Harvey. Almost 7,000 participants, a target of about 22 million, of which the hospital will get a share to improve conditions. We know the circumstances facing the workers and the overall condition of the hospital. But just speak to us a little bit about how much this means to you and the hospital.
Well, each year we we are beneficiaries of what goes on here. Last year we managed to get an operating theatre table. We got some pediatric equipment, which is very necessary. I understand the problems which Cornwall has, but we live with the hope that we will get back to normal. What happens, we have a pre-selected list of vital equipment, and events such as these go a far way in helping the patients who we look after and also improving the services.
Now, Mr. Gister, Director of Nursing Services, we know the hours that you put in, the conditions in which you work under. Just describe for us some of the benefits and what you're looking forward to most following this run.
Okay, certainly the benefits that we look forward to certainly includes the provision of vital equipment for patient care, such as incubators and monitors for our patients. And these are well-needed equipment that we need for everyday patient care.
Dr. Harvey, your word of encouragement to corporate entities in the Western region and for other just private individuals to participate in events such as these.
We are quite encouraged by what we see. Certainly corporate entities coming on board not only improve the healthcare at Cornwall, but health in general. We are inviting everyone to come on board. Health is a national issue. There are various aspects to health, as you know, being promoted by the ministry. Certainly events such as these go a far way. The more persons, the better. It shows community spirit. Certainly gathering persons here is not only to do with the donation of equipment, but something like this, as somebody said, is a social event. It highlights what is going on. It's one of those areas which persons look forward to on an annual basis, coming out to support, knowing fully well that they're supporting events such as a hospital and other things.
With us now is Mr. Steve Hemmings, and he is a member of the Montego Bay community who has benefited significantly from the work delivered at the Cornwall Regional Hospital. Now, Mr. Hemmings, you participated tonight, you walked tonight. Just describe the reasons behind your participation.
Oh, why I do this, you know, upon in the hospital, Cornwall Regional Hospital, 3 times. I'm a patient there. I was a patient there. I do 2 surgeries up there. So that's why I do it to help the hospital. My first year this in this one. I do other one, but my first year this. I enjoy this 500%.
Yes. What did you enjoy most about participating tonight?
The walking.
Yes.
I walk. I know I walk so far for this long time. I walk, you know. Yes. I used to work at Freeport Police Station, but I retire now. But I walk. I couldn't be some walk and reach back at finishing line.
Given the amount of walking, the distance you walk tonight, will that encourage you to walk even more on a regular basis at this kind of pace?
Okay, this is the walk that I do tonight, you know. Very important because I have blood pressure.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't feel it.
Yeah.
Before I start, I don't feel it, and before I done, I don't feel it. And I used to feel it when I used to walk. Then I walk on this to this, and I feel it start at me. So that's why I benefit this, and I can't wait till next year.
With us now is one of the patrons of the Guardian Group, Keep It Alive 5K, Dr. Sarah Lawrence. Sarah, another wonderful staging.
Full of vibes and energy. I am so happy.
So, almost 4,000 people last year, just shy of 7,000 this year. What do you think kind of drove that massive increase?
Oh my God, I don't know what it is, but I thank God. But actually, I really feel like, you know, the Guardian Group just keeps mobilizing and getting bigger and better and getting it out there that this run, this effort is something that can affect every single Jamaican. Because unfortunately, at some time, we all have to interface with the hospital, and it's a system that's lacking. And they have just been committed to fortifying our hospitals with equipment And I mean, it just warms my heart because I get to see it on both sides, you know? Yeah.
So, and let's talk a little bit about that, because you work in the healthcare system and you see the challenges on a day-to-day basis. Please, direct an appeal to private citizens, to corporate entities, to really deliver where we need it most.
Absolutely, because you know, it's very rarely we'll have, you know, some people think if something happens, them go fly out. That's not the reality. The reality is that when something happens, the time is a very time-sensitive thing. So if you come to the university hospital or any of the hospitals in the area and you don't have a simple thing like a blood pressure monitor or the CT scan is down or something like that, it's really something that can be very detrimental. But you know, the Guardian Group saw the need and they are committed. But enough more needs to be done. So it's something that is ongoing and we are always welcoming contributions because our healthcare system is in dire need.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall.
Unsecured loans.
Alleged corruption.
Follows the closure. If they made this investment.
Brokers
strive to increase revenues.
He sought some answers.
Financial meltdown.
Here are the week's final. Here's Gar. News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Camille Gale. Saturdays and Sundays.
With us now is Mr. Leo Garrell, and he is the CEO of the St. Anne's Bay Hospital. Mr. Garrell, tonight must mean a lot to you because it's the second leg of the Guardian Group Keep It Alive 5K, and the hospital is a beneficiary.
Yes, it is. It is a special time for us, always. Well, this is what, the 4th year? Yes, it's always special for us.
So, the big focus recently in the news would have been the Cornwall Regional Hospital and all the troubles there. They still remain open, they still remain functional. Could you share with us some of the unique challenges being faced at the St. Anne's Bay Hospital?
Well, part of the challenge is the fact that Cornwall has challenges because we refer patients to Cornwall. We are a type B hospital, meaning that we don't offer all the services that our patients need. So we refer to Cornwall, which is a type A hospital. Now when they have problems, then I have problems. That means I can't transfer some of my patients there. So I now have to find other places, maybe like KPH or UE to help me. So yes, they have problems, I have problems too. And part of those, well, we have, most of us have the same problems. We have transportation problems, sometimes equipment problems, but it's part for the course, yes.
So Guardian has galvanized support across the island in this fashion, Kingston and Montego Bay. But being in St. Anne's Bay, along the north coast, of course, which is let us call it the tourism belt of the island, are you getting support from tourist-related entities, hotels and other types of institutions? Describe that for us.
Yes, all right. So you have the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, the Runaway Bay Otrius chapter. We are actually a part of that group. And so they do a lot of things for us. Every Labor Day they come in and they do some works in the hospital. But throughout the year, they also do other things for us. So we are fully involved with them. They have sort of adopted us, which are very happy. And we work with them. They try to help us meet our needs so that, because they themselves benefit from it, They're going to send the tourists to us. So they want to make sure that our facility is up to standard. So when the tourists come, they can be well taken care of.
Second place male, Dwayne Graham. And the winner, are you ready for this? 15 minutes, 24 seconds. Only by seconds, put your hands together for the man I call GG. Garfield Gordon. In 3rd place, female. It goes to none other than Juliet Reeves. Congratulations to Juliet Reeves. 36 minutes, 39 seconds. 2nd place, Legionnaire Wallace. And the winner, 5K walk, in 35 minutes, 51 seconds. It goes to Georgiana Fenton. Congratulations. Second place, 26 minutes flat. Do well, Alan, who keeps on doing well. Third place, male. Get ready, Kelsa. 26 minutes. Walk with about, you know. 26 seconds. We're looking for Anthony Burrows. And the winner, who walked 25 minutes, 33 seconds. Andre Smith. On a clap, Andre Smith, please.
Congratulations, Garfield. How was the run for you today?
Well, it was a challenging run for me with my teammate, Ocean Archibald. Yeah, but I put in all the work from a couple months ago, so I know I'm in a good shape to win.
Is this your first time running in Montego Bay?
No, my second time.
How did you do on your previous run?
Well, my last one was 15-19 in Kingston. And it was a great one, but this one was more challenging.
What's the big challenge about this one when you compare it to Kingston?
Well, my teammate, as I said, Ocean Archibald, yeah, he gave me a good challenge.
So of course you run for fitness, but also you're contributing to a worthy cause. What do you have to say to other Jamaicans who want to run competitively or just want to run for the cause?
Well, it's a great experience, both run for the cause and run competitively.
How are you feeling about your second place finish?
Yeah, I feel good. Last year come second same way. I feel good, extremely good.
So you're consistent. You second last year, second this year. Are you going to up it and finish first next year?
Yeah, I'll do that, yes.
With us now is the third place male finisher, Ocean Archibald of GC Foster. Congratulations on the third place. How was the race for you?
It was a good run still, but they leave me at the 4K and I couldn't make it over because it seemed like I still don't recover from the Trinidad and Tobago race. Different environment, but I'm working on my recovery rate, so I guess at the next race I can get back my first place.
Right, because you would have lost to, I think, Garfield Gordon. Is it always stiff competition between you two?
Yes, sir, but I'm the 2018 champion through the early season till now. So when I come second last week and third, I have to still be grateful because it could be even worse.
Great. Well, congratulations again. Thank you for your time. With us now is Mr. Andrew East, who participated wheeling tonight in the Guardian Group Keep It Alive 5K. Describe your participation tonight. How was it for you?
Well, for the first time, I was trying to see how well I would do. So it was a bit difficult, especially going up the hill, but it was fun. I mean, coming back down was not so bad. So, you know, I was trying to pace myself to see where I would, so if I would do it again. But, so yeah, I will do it again.
Well, that's good to hear. So I want to ask though, what inspired you to try this time?
Just something new. Just wanted to do something to challenge yourself. Yeah. After being a disabled person for this time, 18 years, I always need something new to inspire you to keep going and moving forward, you know? So this was one of those things.
I'm happy to hear you say that you will be participating again. Have you identified the next event that you will be in?
Not yet. Just waiting to see and check the listing and see what comes up.
They ran, they walked, they wheeled. Almost 7,000 participants in the Guardian Group Keep It Alive 5K in Montego Bay. It has been a pleasure delivering this event to you on Business Access TV. Serious about business.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Good evening. Welcome to BATV News. I'm Garth Williams. Jamaica has met all and exceeded some of the targets under the latest IMF Precautionary Standby Arrangement review. The revelation was made this morning during EPOC's quarterly press briefing. Javon Keys was there.
Co-chair of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, Keith Duncan, said Jamaica has met all the fourth review targets under the IMF Precautionary Standby Arrangement.
We are pleased to say, except for the inflation target, which came in below the program range at 2.8%, the program range being 3.5 to 6.5%, all quantitative and indicative performance criteria were met up to June 2018.
He noted that tax revenues and non-board reserves and other indicators exceeded their initial targets.
The primary surplus target was set at 18 billion. The outturn was actually 31.3 billion. Tax revenues were set to perform at 110 billion. They came in at 128.7 billion, significantly outperforming the program targets. Non-board reserves were at 2.484 billion, significantly ahead of the 2.075 billion target as at June 2018.
Mr. Duncan also pointed out that based on the statistics produced as at the end of August, primary surplus was $42.1 billion. He said this meant that Jamaica is on track to meet and possibly exceed the $44 billion indicative target set for September. Meanwhile, inflation at the end of August moved up from the 2.8% recorded at the end of June, now falling within the 3.5 to 6.5% range stipulated under the program.
Inflation at the end of August came in at 3.9%, within the program range of 3.5 to 6.5%. So inflation has moved back into the program range.
In the meantime, with the IMF program set to end in December 2019, the EPOC co-chair said Jamaica is on track to meet the end targets of GDP at 1.9% growth, debt to GDP of 93.7%, a primary surplus maintained at 7%, and net international reserves of US $3.83 billion. The next review will be done by the IMF's executive board on November 5th, and Mr. Duncan said EPOC is expecting favorable results. For BATV News, I am Javon Keys.
Meanwhile, the latest figures from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, released yesterday showed that inflation increased by 1.1% during September. Keneal Gale has more.
Statin says the upward movement in September's Consumer Price Index was influenced by a 4.6% increase in the housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels division. This jump was due to increased electricity, water, and sewage rates. As a result, the electricity, gas, and other fuels group moved up by 7.6%, while the group water supply and miscellaneous services related to dwelling advanced by 3.1%. Meanwhile, the food and non-alcoholic beverages division increased by 0.9%. This was primarily due to higher prices for agricultural produce. The group vegetables and starchy foods increased by 2.1%, while the transport division increased by 0.3% as a result of an increase in the price of fuel. In the meantime, calendar year-to-date inflation stood at 2.8%, while fiscal year-to-date inflation was 3%, and the point-to-point movement was 4.3%. A breakdown of the three regions for the month of September all showed increases. Inflation in the Greater Kingston metropolitan area went up 1.2%, other urban centre increased by 1.1%, and rural areas jumped by 1%. For BATV News, I'm Keneal Gale.
Road work along the Portia Simpson Miller Square has blocked the entrance to the CAC 2000 building. The company's chief technical director, Colin Roberts, says the inconvenience, which is the result of poor planning by the National Works Agency and China Harbour, is negatively affecting business. Sashana Small visited the location today.
Roadworks along the Portia Simpson Miller Square have been nothing short of a headache for businesses that operate here. They complain that they're losing revenue because customers cannot gain access to them. But imagine this, coming to work and not getting access to your own building. Take the CAC 2000 building, for example, which was blocked by roadworks recently.
We've been dealing with the slow and gradual encroachment of access to our premises, but things came to a head yesterday when we came and discovered that we were not able to gain access to the premises by any means whatsoever. So, as you can see, the car park now is totally empty. There is a blue zinc wall blocking 2/3 of our entrance, so we are at a standstill insofar as access to our premises is concerned.
Mr. Roberts says the blocking of the building's entrance is evidence of the poor planning and lack of communication from the National Works Agency and CHEC.
We understand that this is a very important national work or national job in the national interest, but that doesn't mean that it must come at the expense of our access to our business. And certainly, things like communication and planning could be done better. Had we gotten the alternate gateway cut and an alternate entrance made to our premises, we wouldn't have been protesting this much.
He says employees have to park their vehicles elsewhere and walk to the office, and this has affected productivity.
People will work with dislocations if they're informed and a plan is laid out and a schedule of what will happen is laid out. If nothing happens and it just occurs happenstance or in an ad hoc basis, people become very demotivated. And our team doesn't know whether or not they're going to be given access to CAC today or tomorrow, or if they're going to gain access to Dr. Glass today or tomorrow, etc.
Unfortunately for Mr. Roberts, the alternative entrance will not be created today or tomorrow.
It will take a maximum of 2 days because we have to ensure, because it is has to facilitate trailers, especially the longer trailers. Presently, without even the alternative entrance, the smaller trailers can be accommodated. But I suppose we have to try to accommodate them in its entirety.
For BATV News, I'm Shoshana Small.
And when we come back, Cabinet approves billions for infrastructure work. This and more after the break.
Home is where all the sweetness, silliness, and beauty of life happens. Discover your style and express yourself with furniture from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Visit any of our 2 locations at Ligony Kingston or Fairview Montego Bay. Find the most exquisite range of furniture in varying styles to suit your needs. So tell your story with elegant and affordable lounge, bedroom, dining pieces, and more from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Here at Ashley, this is home.
This is the new Tough Crossover. An exploring gear that pumps out your tough side. Strong and sturdy on the outside. Calm and comfort on the inside. This is Suzuki new SX4 S-Cross. Gear to explore.
Welcome back. Over the past 2 weeks, Cabinet has approved more than $2 billion in contracts. The contracts, which are mainly focused on construction and infrastructural development, are reportedly part of the government's recently expanded capital expenditure budget. Information Minister Ruel Reid gave the contract details during this morning's post-cabinet press briefing. Jamila Maitland reports.
Information Minister Ruel Reid told the journalist that Cabinet has approved several contracts for the development of infrastructure across the island. Almost $200 million was approved for the development of Denham Town in Kingston. The community is located within the zone of special operations and the recently declared state of public emergency.
Also, Cabinet approved the award of a contract through the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIP, for the undertaking of rehabilitative works in keeping with the British Town Integrated Infrastructure Project in the sum of $169,964,188.70 to Stonebus Limited. Cabinet also approved the award of a contract in the sum of $186,304,628.10 the Contracts Enterprise Limited to carry out rehabilitative work under the Denham Town Integrated Infrastructure Project.
Minister Reid also said a contract was awarded for the construction of a business processing outsourcing centre in Portmore, St. Catherine.
Cabinet approved the award of the contract in the sum of $949,218,375.02 to ZEA Construction Limited. This is to undertake mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and external works at the Portmore Business Process Outsourcing Complex at the Portmore Informatics Park in the municipality of Portmore.
And APEC Consultants, project managers at the Cornwall Regional Hospital, has been awarded a contract valued at $146 million.
Cabinet has approved the award of contract in the sum of $146,788,000 to APEC Consultants Limited for the establishment of a program management office for the Cornwall Regional Hospital.
For BATV News, I'm Jamila Maitland.
Parliamentarians have unanimously voted for the extension of the Zones of Special Operation ZOSO in Mount Salem, St. James, despite having concerns about the social intervention strategies to come for the community after the operation ends. The vote happened in Parliament yesterday. More in this report.
It's been more than a year since the Zones of Special Operations was declared in Mount Salem, St. James. The executive emergency powers took effect on September 1, 2017 and has seen some 5 extensions since. However, before the voting to extend the ZOSO this time around, opposition parliamentarians raised questions about the level of social intervention to be executed to engage a community that has witnessed no crime in over a year. First up was opposition spokesman on national security, Fitz Jackson.
Social intervention has to be in the open and it has to engage all the various stakeholders in the communities. That is what a crime plan would encompass. Drawing into the center all the critical stakeholders, identifying their responsibilities, identifying what are the resource needs, do the necessary training that is necessary, do the necessary planning that is necessary. All of these are elements of a crime plan. But people can't participate into what they don't know. That's why the various stakeholder groups throughout the country has been making that request of you for over a year. They want to participate. They want to help. But they want some leadership in that direction.
Up next was Ronnie Thwaites. He argued that the family and a more stringent education system focused on our males should become a core part of the intervention strategy.
If young men are kept in school, and particularly if there are programs that will attract their attention, uniform groups, technical studies to which they are inclined, despite the vulnerability of their demographic background, they are likely to stay out of the gangs. It is not beyond our resources, our present resources and our wit, to ensure that a particular targeting be done for that class of young person.
Then it was Peter Bunting who raised concerns about the national crime strategy. He pointed out that one is needed for the entire country and not just those covered by extreme security powers.
Yes, we have to respond to flare-ups wherever they occur, and sometimes that response has to be saturation level policing for short or medium-term periods. But we can't forget the rest of the island at the same time. And the fact that we still last week, with all these states of emergency, with all the additional resources that have been put into the Ministry of National Security, the JDF and the JCF, that we still see this level of murder across the country.
For BATV News, I'm Jamila Maitland.
Access Financial Services says it has reached an agreement to acquire a Florida-based consumer finance company. However, the acquisition will not be finalized until all conditions of the purchase agreement and all applicable legal and regulatory approvals are given. The process is expected to be completed in 90 days. Access Financial says this acquisition is part of its thrust to expand operations, diversify its revenue stream, and create opportunities for all stakeholders while increasing stakeholder value. Stay with us. Regional and international stories are next.
The Nissan X-Trail with All-Mode I Technologies. No matter what the road throws at you, your story starts here.
TV, serious about business.
Welcome back. Time now for regional and international stories. Operators of the Berbice Toll Bridge in Guyana are at loggerheads with the government over proposed toll increases. More in this Guyana News Source report.
The government of Guyana is looking at its legal options and other options to block a move by the Berbice Bridge Company to increase the tolls to cross the Berbice Bridge. The company called a press conference this morning to announce that while it has not gotten approval from the Minister of Public Infrastructure, it will still be moving ahead with its plan to increase the tolls from November 12. Under the company's plan, motorists could find themselves paying increases of more than 300%. Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson called an emergency press conference this afternoon to make it clear that the government is not in agreement with the move and will be doing all in its power to prevent the increases.
Well, I want to assure Gordon, good question. I want to assure the entire Berbice sector that we will do everything in our powers to ensure that this order some tolls are passed on to them. As I said, when the Minister of Legal Affairs, the Attorney General, examines and gives me all the legal options, then from there I go back to Cabinet and we can see. We have several options. We would have options. I mean, if he recommends an amendment, we could do that. If Finance recommends a financial route, we can go there. Or if the Minister of Public Security says it's a vital and important service and says declare an order to keep it open, I mean, we'll do that. I mean, so the entire gamut of possibilities are open. I don't know which one we will do this time, but I do know the outcome will be that there will be no fare increases to the people of Berbice.
Minister Patterson explained that the government currently spends an average of $155 million annually to subsidize the tolls for the Berbice Bridge, and the move by the company to increase tolls could only be seen as unconscionable.
Firstly, my position remains the same. I will not be approving any toll increases for the Berbice Bridge, River Bridge crossing. And that is our position on that. We will be seeking legal advice from the Attorney General's chamber on the legal implications of what is the power and the authorities under this act. Thirdly, I would like to give all assurances to all commuters in Berbice and Region 5 and Region 6 that the government will do all that is necessary to ensure that commuters can continue to use the bridge safely and without any particular undue harassment or tolls.
CEO and Managing Director of the JMMB Bank in Trinidad and Tobago, Nigel Romano, says Petrotrin had to close because it was no longer valuable to its shareholders. TTT News' Ian Wason has more.
The CEO of the JMMB Bank said Petrotrin could have been valuable, but he wasn't sure the company's management understood that creating value depended on their performance, the payment of staff, customers, and the taxes to the government.
And I'm not sure that Petrotrin understood who its customers were and what value it was creating for those customers. When you have sustaining losses you go out of business.
Mr. Romano said Petrotrin needed to stay relevant over the years to remain competitive.
Why does Petrotrin believe it can exist forever if it is not adding value? To compete, our companies and organizations need to have the right people, the right leadership, and the right culture.
The breakfast meeting focused on the national budget for the 2018-2019 fiscal year. Ian Wayson, TTT News.
The effects of a no-deal Brexit may be felt in the Dutch port of Rotterdam more than anywhere else, as it is crucial for the movement of goods into the UK. The Netherlands government has therefore started planning for a worst-case scenario. Al Jazeera's Lawrence Lee reports.
The Dutch love to grow tomatoes. The Netherlands is the world's biggest exporter of the fruit. In the summer, the UK gets nearly half of all its tomatoes from here, or at least it has done. The assumption is that a no-deal Brexit will mean a no-tomato Britain.
You're talking about empty shelves on the UK side with a price effect, job loss probably, but at the same time, for us we have a lot of product that is not going to the UK market, so it has to find other new markets.
The British rely just as much on Rotterdam, Europe's biggest port, to service the demands of consumers. It is a model of efficiency. Freedom of movement of goods, services, money, people. It's the most treasured achievement of the European Union. In its purest form, Brexit says no to all of those things. But because the British government still can't decide what sort of Brexit it wants, the Dutch have had no choice but to get into worst-case scenario planning. No trade deal with the European Union would mean fruits, vegetables and meats having to be checked at this new border to ensure it all meets hygiene standards. It means the Dutch employing nearly 1,000 more customs officers. It means queues, backlogs, turning away from the UK and seeking new markets. And it isn't only about Dutch tomatoes, it's about goods produced across the EU that British people want to buy.
So all the production from Germany, 25% of our trade is coming from or is going to Germany, they have to prepare as well. And that is where the real challenge is. Are they preparing as well as Rotterdam is for the Brexit? Because if they are not prepared, then it still stops here.
Across Western European capitals, the same conversations are being had. How to get a deal done when the British government is riven by dissenting views.
And still we don't know where we're landing. Are we landing with a chaotic Brexit? Are we landing within a customs union, without a customs union? Do we have 2 or 3 years of a transition period or not? It's still up in the air. And the basic mistake was made before the notification of the Article 50 letter. So you still see that British politicians are negotiating among themselves what the Brexit should look like. And that question should have been settled by now.
The British government has warned that Brexit could lead to food shortages, though such talk is dismissed by purist Brexiters as scaremongering. Gradually, though, the EU is coming to the view that the UK may have to put up with the consequences of its lack of direction. Lawrence Lee, Al Jazeera, Rotterdam.
It's official. Canada is now the largest country with a legal national marijuana marketplace, as sales began early this morning in Newfoundland. Here's more.
Cannabis, marijuana, weed. Whatever you call it, Canada is legalizing it. As of Wednesday, Canadians 18 and over can legally purchase the drug for recreational use. Entrepreneurs in the cannabis business, who for years sold the drug for medical usage, alongside everything from pipes to infusion machines, are looking forward to a new era.
Wednesday should be a proud day for Canadians. In terms of our business, we'll actually have dispensaries open in Manitoba, in Winnipeg, so people will be able to actually walk into cannabis dispensing stores, the first legal dispensaries in the country.
Canadians are among the highest per capita users of cannabis. 4.6 million, or 1 in 8, consumed pot this year. Canadians are expected to spend over $1 billion on legal cannabis in the first 3 months. So big demand, but how about supply? The biggest players in the industry are all already based here. Shares of Cronos and Tilray are traded on the Nasdaq, while Canopy Growth, Aurora and more than 100 smaller firms are listed on Canadian stock exchanges. Analysts say their revenues are set to triple this year, and continue rising.
Right now, the value of product in this vault is probably around $6 million. But of course, we have been shipping to all the provinces over the last several weeks, so it's gone down dramatically from where we started just, I'd say, 3-4 weeks ago.
But it's not all clear skies for the budding business. Investors are being warned that just like with the recent fate of cryptocurrencies, the highs could bottom out quickly, and the industry face a bust.
Stay with us. Talking Stocks is next.
GrowthTech is making connectivity like oxygen. Wherever you see the GrowthTech free Wi-Fi, feel free to connect. Watch, connect, and go, allowing you to chat, check, browse, and email securely. So when you're on the go and need to connect with friends, family, or a team member, or just stay updated, look for GrowthTech's free Wi-Fi. GrowthTech, making connectivity like oxygen.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back. It's now time for Talking Stocks. 62 stocks traded today, of which 16 advanced, 39 declined, and 7 traded firm. The main JC index declined by 4,600 points to close at over 373,000. The junior index declined by 40 points to close at 3,346. Over 5 million units traded today, valued at more than $72 million on the Jamaican dollar market, while on the US dollar market, some 32,000 units traded, valued at over $4,000 US. JMMB Group ordinary shares with more than 800,000 units trading accounted for 15% of market volume. Carreras with a little over 500,000 units trading was second, while Siboney Group with 500,000 units trading was third, accounting for 9% of market volume crossing the floor. The main advancers were Medical Disposables and Supplies ordinary shares up 97 cents to close at $7.49, followed by Pulse Investment Group up 22 cents to close at $2.50, and Siboney Group up a cent to close at 18 cents. The main decliners were Saprod Group down $4.91 to close at $36.46, followed by Fosrich Company down 38 cents to close at $3.46, and General Accident Insurance down 40 cents to close at $3.70. And that's all the news, but before we go, a recap of our top story. Jamaica has met all and exceeded some of the IMF targets under the latest IMF Precautionary Standby Arrangement Review. Thanks for watching. For more content, visit our website at batvja.com. I'm Garth Williams. Pleasant viewing.
I'm Shani Jajo, and you're watching Business Access.
My name is Herbert Chung, Executive Chairman, Honeybone 1982 Limited, co-founder.
I'm Michelle Chung, CEO of Honeybun. Well, Michelle Chung is first and foremost a Christian, and of course we always give that first. And then I'm wife of Herbert Chung, who is my partner in the business, and we have 4 children. So those are the things that first of all define me. I'm from Kingston. I was born in Kingston. I grew up in Kingston, and I went to Mona Preparatory School. I then went to St. Peter and Paul High School, which is now Campion. A lot of people nowadays don't know that, but at that time it was a girls' school. I remember myself as being a quiet person, very quiet. I always wanted to be a teacher, always wanted to be a teacher. In fact, when I came into the business, I recognized that I can teach her too, so that made it good for me. I have 3 sisters, and when I was about 15, I have a brother. So my brother was born at that age, and my sisters and I were regular family. Mother and father were there. My 2 grandfathers are from China, actually, and my 2 grandmothers are Jamaican, mixed Jamaican. So it makes me very mixed. When my brother was born, I was 14 years older than him, and I took on a very motherly role. So that was inherent in me. I think the whole teacher and mother thing were significant in my childhood.
I was born in Westmoreland, which is, at then was really a lovely parish. It was like maybe a Peyton place. I mean, you really, rich in the sense of growing up with a lot of friends and people around you, and out there was really, it was the farming belt, sugar estate belt, so you had a lot of all different kind of people you grew up with. It was far from school as how my parents wanted their children to go to school, because apparently, I don't know what they had in their mind, but I'm from a family of 7, and apparently my parents wanted all 7 to be at 7 different schools all over the island, so it was, and I ended up had to come to Kingston. I went to Campion College, and at that time, Campion College was a private school, just being adopted in the government system, but you still had to do another exam, even though you passed for government scholarship, that a government aided scholarship, but you had to do another exam to enter Campion too at the time. I remember independence. Independence stand out quite a bit for me because my mother was involved a lot with independence, and I remember, I don't know if you know that Great George Street in Sablamar. If you know the street, if you've been there, was supposed to have been the widest and largest street in Jamaica, even bigger than King Street, as though King Street name says King, but Great George Street was actually supposed to be the biggest street in Jamaica. So, and I remember that street being decorated with banners and flags and things like that. That took months to really sew them, because yeah. And my mom was a big part of that.
One moment from my childhood that really stands out was my understanding of poverty. I remember there was a lady who came to our gate. I was quite young at the time, and she was begging money. And it was kind of like a first experience of someone really in need, because I didn't grow up in a situation where I was surrounded by very poor people. And I really had a lot of compassion for her. And I remember I went and I gave her almost all my savings at the time. So it has stayed with me all this time. And I think maybe I always think that that's where my blessings come from. So that moment stands out. I lived in Canada for about 5 years, going to university there where I studied psychology and studied math as a minor. Being in a Canadian environment was new, cold, very cold. Dying to come home, standing at that bus stop every day waiting on the bus was difficult. But it gave me a sense of understanding global concepts about transportation, order, business systems. I did a temp job which included working in the hospitals, working in the banking industry. So I got a number of different experiences working in different places, which really benefited me.
After campaign, I went to, well, CAS, which is now UTEC, and did, I was in construction. Started business, but my family was in also construction, so I figured that maybe best someone knew something about construction, so I went over to construction. And then after 2 years of that, going into the third year, the exodus or migration started. That I had to go. And the one-way ticket is a serious one-way ticket. There's no ticket coming back. You know you're leaving and you're not coming back. That's what it was like. So maybe one day, I don't know if it ever happened, that you have to buy a ticket when you're traveling and you buy a one-way ticket and know that wherever you end up there, that's where you're going, you're not coming back. I mean, maybe for holidays, yes, but yes, migration is something, although it's a great experience, that it's something that has maybe helped mold me as a person too also. But it's like a whole, it's like a degree, a university degree, how to do it, you know. It's hard. You're growing up with all your friends, you know, and then you just have to just pick up and leave. Going to Canada was a whole new ball game of experience for me, because I took on a lot of responsibility going to Canada, a lot.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 cross spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you, BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Delighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Going to Canada was a whole new ball game of experience for me. Like we had to stop in Miami first, and you buying some clothes, we never know how cold Canada was going to be. And then reaching Canada is something else again, you know, where it was just myself and my brother, who were not married at the time. And the usual Chinese custom is when the parents or family is moving, who is not married, you usually, you know, migrate or go with the family. Everybody else had their own priorities in terms of their family. So going to Canada still, you know, was a big experience for me. And I think it has made me who I am still. Because I took on a lot of responsibility going to Canada, a lot. Mrs. Chung came into my life at a very sad and opportune time for me still, you know, because I met Mrs. Chung after my father died, about 2 or 3 months after. And my father and myself were there. I mean, you know, I really got close to my parents and my father, you know, for the time I've been in Canada. And he used to help me with I had a business there also. You know, he used to help me quite a bit. And when he died, I decided I'm going to have to, this is enough for me, you know. I have done what I have to do for my family and move on. And I was taking a break when I met Mrs. Chung. It's about taking a break in the sense that I wanted to give up what I was doing and start a whole new life, you know. So, yeah, that's when I met Mrs. Chung. So it was an opportune time for me meeting somebody like that.
So here were these 2 Jamaicans in Canada, and we met. And after a while, he decided he wanted to come back home.
I had to come back to Jamaica, and she was there for a while. And then after I realized that, yes, it's time, you know, spending enough time in Canada, almost 8-10 years up there, and I decided that Jamaica is where I wanted to come back. And when I left, and those years, you know, there's no text and write, and there was a phone call, but they're very expensive in those times, so we had to write letters. So I decided that I had to get on a plane and go do what I had to do, and decided to tell her that I'm coming back, I am back there for her.
When I returned to Jamaica, my husband and I both returned to Jamaica. We weren't married as yet, but before we were married, I taught at Campion College. For a very short time, I taught math. I absolutely loved that period of my life when I was teaching. I was teaching 2nd and 3rd form math, and it was very rewarding. It was during my teaching years that my husband and I purchased Honeybun, and we started to manage it, so I had to leave my teaching job.
So after I decided that we're coming back to Jamaica to live, well, a lot of people have always asked me to start a pizza business because pizza was very new to Jamaica at that time, you know. I think I came back just before Shakey's started, who was another franchise that came here. But so I knew the pizza business. Honeybun was a pizza place at the time. We sell quite a bit of pizzas. So I looked into the company. Well, I also knew the people who had owned the company, and they had a number of companies that they were working with, and I think they were just a little tired of Honeybun because it takes a lot of hands-on work to be there all the time, you know. So how it got started is when I came back, got married, and then my wife was teaching at the time. So I did what I had to do in terms of loans and everything, and got myself together and purchased the company.
So we bought Honeybun, borrowed some money, bought Honeybun, and at the time he said he needed me to come and work in the business, and you know, the natural Chinese Jamaican, that's a natural progression. So we were both working in Honeybun. And the thing about it that was very interesting at the time was we discovered that we had a very different approach to how to manage the business. So it was at that time that we kind of separated and joined together and conquered, because he used his strengths and I used mine. And thank God they were different, because I think that has contributed a lot to our success. I had a lot to learn in a very short period of time. I remember going to my accountant and learning how to write up cash books, manual cash books. Now we have Quicken and we have all sorts of accounting systems. Do the payroll. So those were challenges in and of themselves. But I always loved math, so they weren't too much of a challenge. And there were just several challenges. I remember one day we took an order for a wedding cake and the decorator resigned just before the wedding, and I had to learn quick, just like Matrix, quick, how to decorate wedding cakes. So there were lots of challenges wearing different hats. You had to be everything in this new business. You weren't like the accountant for the business, you were just everything for that new business. You had to know how to make the pastries, manage staff, you had to learn about the equipment, so it was a lot. It was a lot.
It was some of the biggest challenges from the time of Honeybun. Myself and my wife having Honeybun, is finding a home. We have always rented place, and every time we rent and we start to settle in, we have to move. So it took us, I would say, it took us maybe 20 years before we could, 20-something years before we could buy our own place. And you know, we always keep on renting and moving, and we always have to move. Something happening where the people need a place. But that has always been a major challenge for us, you know, having a home. Now it's a little different now. We have found a home. You know, when we just got this company, I had some family in England who, I remember he was telling me, and he was quite a bit of a marketer in England at the time, and he said, well, the name is such a nice name, you know. Sometimes I feel the name is sort of soft in the sense that honey and bun, but let me tell you, the company, it has grown in the sense that people, it's a household name as it is now, and we really have worked on it. The entire family has worked on it.
Honeybun is truly now a family business. It started off as a family business with my husband and I, but our daughter worked in the business in marketing for several years. That's Crystal Chung. And now 2 of my sons work in the business. One manages operation and the other one manages distribution and sales. And they are very different. They have very different skills again. So that also helps the business a lot. What I do hear a lot from our workers is that they feel like this is a family. They feel a part of the family. You have some workers who they call Chung. So it's a family business, not only for the children working in the business, but I think there's a family feel here all the time. And we enjoy that, and we've really hung on to the hope that as the business grows, the culture remains. And it has. I challenge you to ask some of the workers. It's still a very family feel. The first obvious thing that a family business contributes is succession and succession planning. So you have children who grew up in the business. I remember at 12, some of my children had to come down here when we just put in a night shift, and I was like, okay, now we need you to make donuts, you know, and they never forgot it because they were like, really? It's like, yes. The staff didn't want to start working on night shift. It was new. Not many companies in Jamaica were doing it, but we had to increase our capacity based on our demand, and the children, we rounded them up, we rounded up some of their friends. So they have been integrated in every aspect of the business, and unlike me, they won't have to learn everything from scratch when they're in their early 20s. So the succession planning is a significant part of it. What they can take for granted, knowing in the business, someone else can't take it for granted. They also have been a part of very high-level business meetings that they would not have had the opportunity to be involved with working in another company. So we're not trying to indicate that they must be the future leaders of the business, but they know that's a real option for them. And then when the company went public, it was also a part of succession planning, because it is a lot better to have sound governance and a formal board in a business for it to survive than to just have children who may make up new rules and have different policies that they want to change. So the business of the family in a structured business has been tremendous for us, and it will carry us far in the future. What drives me has a lot to do with being very focused. If you ask people who know me, I'm very focused. I have a dream, and it's like I don't sleep.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas Mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 crawl spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you, BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
The proudest I've been at the company, I would say twofold, in the sense that when we bought our first property for the factory, that's one, and also when we went on the stock market. I was a little nervous at the time because, you know, you sort of, when you're on the stock exchange, you know, like you say, your books are open and everything, but we being the family being upfront with everything, we didn't think about that anymore. We just went forward, and it has been very good for us in terms of branding and the rest of, you know, the exposure we have gotten and things. And you never believe how much things happen, you know. Banks call, you know, now before you used to call a bank, banks are calling you now to lend you money and things like that, you know. So it's a little different.
What drives me has a lot to do with being very focused. If you ask people who know me, I'm very focused. I have a dream, and it's like I don't sleep. I just need to keep dreaming and finding the ways in which to accomplish my dreams. And sometimes I have to shuffle and come again. So I'm always motivated because I'm always focused on the big picture, always.
To see the family getting together, and not only the family, but the people at work who every day they see you and we talk, and we you know, just moving around them and seeing that their livelihood, they have a livelihood too. They can go home and they can you know, they have a job. and you know, the company growing in the sense that sales and everything else growing with the company. That drives me quite a bit.
I've probably gotten a lot of advice, but I'm also told I'm a little bit stubborn. So while I carry the advice within me and live it, I don't remember exactly what it is. But I think one of the things that I have always worked with is, one of the advice I gave myself during challenging time was what I termed C2O, challenges to opportunity. Every time you have a challenge, just convert it into an opportunity. And so it really helps me every time I'm challenged. Whether it's physical, mentally, spiritual, I always try to look at challenges as if I can get around this, I can be at another level.
Well, there's one particular one, but you know, and actually too is my father-in-law who said it to me. And he always saying, you know, say, walk for nothing better than sit down for nothing. And I a number of times that I'm at home and I get up and go somewhere or do some things. A deal come up or something happens where you can advance yourself in life. So you know, sometimes in the sense that in Jamaican terms, you know, don't sit around. If you can maybe go somewhere with somebody that you're not going to make any money, but something can happen in your favor. If you don't have health, you know, you make yourself comfortable, but not extravagant.
Wealth means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear about wealth is wisdom. I think wealth is wisdom because if you have money and you have no wisdom, you can easily lose it. So, you know, in the Bible, Solomon's gift was wisdom, and with wisdom you can earn a lot of money. So that's one thing. But wealth also engages how you use your money, what you use it for. And to me, wealth is not necessarily material. Wealth is about being able to do the things you would like to do, but also to make other people's life more comfortable. So many times you would love to be able to help people more, but you say, oh boy, you know, you don't have the cash to do it. I'd love to be able to have enough cash to help people as I go along, to make my life comfortable naturally, and to be able to have a more meaningful workplace for my employees in terms of their well-being. So that's what wealth means to me.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.
Ensuring a better future, that's the aim of Anderson Child Management, a non-charity organization founded by the visionary and dreamer Anita Anderson. The name clearly bears her last name, but what could have inspired her to start this non-profit organization?
How we come about with the name of Anderson Child Management was from the Child Support Receipt Book, and with that I had to get my name to originate it. The Child Support Receipt Book is made to support both parents in transaction and to ensure there is transparency with the financial obligation. And it's a further reference and also for proper record keeping where parent is concerned. What inspired me to start this was a vision, yes? I get a vision from the Lord how to make this book. And with my personal experience, I was able to bring it out into the market. The response out there sometimes, especially when I go to the courthouse to sell these books, is like parents, wow, how you come about this, how you made this very great idea, you come at the right place selling this book and stuff like that. And it inspired me. It really inspired me to know that I can be able to do something. The Lord has given me this vision to do something that really help parents. Father, sometimes at court call me, impressed with the book. Yo, come sell one of them books, they not call you. Don't know, you know, man, not get no receipt and all these things. So, you know, I smile and it really built me. My day, like if it's a very big court day, which is on a Wednesday, if it's a very big court day, I sell like sometimes like 20 books, 30 books. You know, and some parents feel bad in purchasing the book, and some really don't have the money. So I try to make the book as low as possible where cost is concerned. Some will say, go to the father, see over there so I can buy one from you because when I spend the money now, give me the money, you know, and stuff like that. And some I would tell them, some why I put an example sheet in it, because some really don't understand how to fill the book out, so that's why they won't purchase the book. So when the example sheet in it, they are able to follow.
It takes courage and determination to sell these receipt books at the Spanish Town Courthouse, and so when Anita ventured out on her first day to sell these books, she didn't know what to expect.
How do I feel? I was excited, can't wait, nervous. How do I sell these books in the market? What would I say to parents when they ask me, how do I come about selling this at the courthouse? What's the purpose of it? You know, how would it help them? You know, so I explained to them as best as I could, and you know, they understand what I'm saying, and some of them say, oh, I always have nothing to prove that I'm receiving money, so this is really a great and awesome idea. For father, he came from all the way in Linstead to come to family court, and unfortunately, he really had no money, and what he has no receipt to show that he gave the mother the money on spot at the family court, and I blessed him with one of that book. And he was like, wow, you know, Mom, God bless you, God bless you. You know, it's in business, it's not just to just sell every day, but to just bless somebody from it as well. I just give God the glory. I really give God the glory for all this. I will not take the glory for myself, because with God and without my team, it wouldn't be possible. I'm feeling blessed, and I just give God all the glory for that.
Anderson Child Management is funded through the various activities that they do.
We get the funds by selling the Child Support Receipt Book. We keep our first fundraising, and we keep our parenting seminar, which we had a donation box. We sell our key rings. We sell our books at that seminars. So, and we are looking into our annual fundraising, annual seminars, and also the book. Our parenting seminar is like a workshop where parents need answers, and they don't know where to turn, they don't know that they can go here and get these answers. So when they come out to these workshops, they realize that there's help, there's hope. You don't have to be struggling to foster your child. You don't have to struggle to tell your child that I love you, because when you come to these parenting seminars, from different organizations, it teaches you how to foster your child, how to protect your child, how to love your child, how to support your child in every means, and how to listen as well to your child. I really want to emphasize on the fathers, for them to really step up and play this major role in their child life or their children's life. Regardless if they are not with the mother anymore, for them to participate in the child PTA meeting, graduation. Remember the child birthday, call the child, say something to the child, say I love you, ask what the child is doing. You know, and when you see fathers making these major steps, I would love for mothers to really support them in doing so. For me, as an upcoming company trying to help parents and to help children, I think that society can do much better. What future plans do I have is to make my book be available island-wide and internationally, and to have our parenting seminar go worldwide to help every parent that need our help. We have plans like going into the children's home. You know, whatever we achieve from these fundraising, we can able to share it among these children in the children's home. We need to go and visit like a lot of homes where, you know, parents are that, you know, maybe haven't seen the child in a long while. United we stand, yeah, divided we fall. I'm not looking at it to say I'm a company and I don't want the help of a next company. If we can all put together and make this country a better place, I am willing to do so. I would love for the government to endorse my book by allowing the clerk of court to use it. My books are available, even in Western Union. My books are available. Every crease and corner of every little store, it's available. It's available in Sangster's bookstore island-wide. We're hoping that everybody will hear about Anderson Child Management.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 cross spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you. BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On point. Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
Managing a non-profit organization is never an easy task, but Anita has a team that provides the support that is well needed in order to move the organization forward.
I am the team manager for Anderson Child Management, and my role is just to really create and foster ideas to move the company forward and just to really influence the other team members, you know, that is working with us, you know, to work hard at exposing Anderson Child Management. I have known Anita for about 16 years now, right? She is more like a daughter to me, right? I have really mothered her from those times. And as a visionary, she's always creative. And so when she came about with this vision, she came to me, she called me and tell me about it. And we meet and, put ideas together. She was saying, Mama, how can we put this out, to the forefront? And so we sit together and we think, and then we come about a Facebook page. And then we realized that the page was costing a lot to keep up, and so we decided, why not make a Facebook group? And so we made a group, and that is where, it really started pushing off. Persons started recognizing the group and just, really endorsing.
Maureen Allen is very vocal on issues surrounding them. When quizzed on the matter of child abuse, which seems to have become a national epidemic, she had this to say.
It's just so heart-rending to hear some of the things that is really happening, the abuse and the rape and all of that. It's really heart-rending to hear them. And so, even Anderson Child Management coming on board now, we see it as an avenue really to say to parents, don't look on the government to make things better, and don't say the government is not doing enough, right, to curb those abuse, those crimes against children. Don't say that. What we need to begin to look on is an individual work. It begins with parents at home. It begins with parents just really listen to your children. Hearing them out, looking on your children, what is going on with them. Because a lot of our children, they are crying out. But parents are otherwise minded with the struggle of life and economic crisis and all of that. Parents are really, focusing on that, and they are not focusing, so the abuse can be there. So it begins with us as parents. It begins with men and women on a whole in Jamaica. And, when we as parents, stand up and begin to listen to our children. And then I was saying, just the other day, is that we get back to that place where the village will grow a child, our children. Not to say that we're looking for persons to abuse your children on the street, but when a village begin to grow your children, we will see eye out for each other children. And even if my neighbor is abusing their children, don't think on what will happen if I talk. Talk, because that's a child. The child is essential. So the village should get back to growing children. Look out not only for your child, but look out for the neighbor child that is being abused. And you see children on the road wandering, don't pass them. Find some means by getting them home or bringing them to the station. But it all depends on individual. Us and parents need to begin to listen and to see.
With these issues in mind, she hopes that they will be recognized for the work that they do.
What we're working at now is to be seen in Jamaica, to be heard of. When you walk in a pharmacy and you see the book, when you see the book anywhere about the place, right? And you begin to buy this book and, we begin to establish this company. Then what I would want the government to do is to endorse it, right? So as long as the book is being used, as long as it's being seen, person talking about the book, then what we want the government to do is endorse this, allow it to be used in the court system. Because when you look at a book as this, right? You keep good record, and this book helps you to reach each other, to bridge that gap where the animosity among single parents is that I don't want to see the daddy or me don't want to see the mommy, but this book would have bridged that gap. Is that meet me halfway, meet me in a park, meet me at Sovereign Center, meet me at Emancipation Park, and let us come together, right? And really listen to your children. Because the father is missing. So if the mother can meet them halfway, and we even want to talk to me, talk to the child or the children. Find out what is happening at home, find out what is happening at school, find out things about it. So this company is about to bridge that gap where the whole animosity will be over between parents, because a woman cannot make a child alone. It takes a man as well. So the responsibility is between mother and father. And children need both mother and fathers. They do. With these seminars that we're having, we look on parents supporting these seminars. So for the former one that we have a lot of persons coming in. We have persons coming from children and abuse here, and we have the policemen coming in to talk. We have a lawyer, Mrs. Bartholomew, actually coming in to talk. And we have a number of persons in that seminar coming in just to educate parents on a whole on how to bridge this gap, you know, between single parents, right? So I believe that the seminar is one way that we'll be able to educate them. When they come in, they will be educated on how do I treat my child? How do I reach out more to my child? How do I hear my child crying out? So I believe these seminars that we're having will do that. So my hope and vision is for Anderson Child Management is that we will be known. Not just really saying that, you know, we have a support book going out and all of that, and a few persons know us, but really to be known to Jamaica on a whole.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
This is Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall,
unsecured loans,
alleged corruption,
follows the closure. If they made this investment,
brokers
strive to increase revenues.
He sought some answers.
Financial meltdown.
Here are the week's final. Here's Garth. News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Camille Gale, Saturdays and Sundays.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 crawl spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you. BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth. Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
Shan Durkan Willis, a mother of two, is one of the many people that the organization has helped. For her, it is God sent.
I heard about Anderson's child management